In the chilling silence that followed two unimaginable tragedies, the world asked, why? The crashes of Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, just months apart, exposed a hidden vulnerability. A seemingly routine aircraft, the Boeing 737 MAX, became a symbol of catastrophic failure. An unprecedented global grounding. But as the aircraft slowly returned to service, a deeper question lingered: beyond the headlines, beyond the fixes, what truly changed in the very fabric of aviation safety? What did we, as passengers and an industry, learn? At the heart of the crisis lay MCAS, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. A seemingly minor software addition, designed to make a larger aircraft feel familiar to pilots. But its implementation. Its reliance on a single, vulnerable sensor input. Its ability to repeatedly push the aircraft's nose down, overriding pilot commands. It was a design choice with devastating consequences, a cascade of errors that became fatal. How could such a system be certified? The answer, it seemed, was more complex than a simple bug. The decision to ground an entire fleet, worldwide, was extraordinary. More than 300 aircraft, sitting idle on tarmacs. A stark admission that something had gone fundamentally wrong. The economic fallout was immense. Billions lost. Reputations shattered. But far more significant was the erosion of public trust. How could regulators, particularly the FAA, the gold standard of aviation safety, have allowed this? The spotlight turned from the aircraft itself to the very process by which it was deemed safe for flight. A system, perhaps, too reliant on manufacturer data. The aftermath initiated a radical re-evaluation of the FAA's certification process. For years, the agency had delegated significant aspects of aircraft approval to Boeing itself. A system of organizational designation authorization, a kind of industry self-policing. The MAX crashes brought this model into question. International aviation authorities, once largely deferring to the FAA, began to conduct their own independent reviews. A fragmentation of trust. A demand for greater transparency. Was the era of unilateral regulatory dominance over? The immediate, tangible change was, of course, the MCAS software update. No longer would it rely on a single angle of attack sensor. Now, two sensors would compare readings. If they disagreed, MCAS would be disabled. Its activation limits were reduced. Pilots would have clearer, overriding control. It was a complete re-architecture of the system's logic. But was this simply patching a hole, or a fundamental shift in how aircraft software is designed and vetted? Was the root cause addressed, or just the symptom? The changes extended beyond lines of code. It became clear that pilots needed to be better prepared for unexpected scenarios. Crucially, mandatory simulator training was introduced for all 737 MAX pilots. This was a departure from Boeing's initial position that computer-based training was sufficient. Flight manuals were updated, emphasizing the importance of recognizing and reacting to automated system malfunctions. The focus shifted to not just preventing failures, but empowering the human at the controls to manage them. A critical re-emphasis on the pilot's role. The repercussions echoed through Boeing's corporate halls. Acknowledging immense pressure and public outcry, CEO Dennis Muilenburg was ultimately replaced. Successors pledged a renewed focus on safety and transparency over production targets. Internal reviews sought to understand how a culture of expediency might have taken root. But how deep do these cultural changes run? Is it simply a change of faces, or a genuine, lasting transformation of a century-old aerospace giant's priorities? The answer remains a subject of ongoing scrutiny. The MAX crisis sent ripples across the entire aviation industry. Other manufacturers and regulators globally began reviewing their own certification practices. EASA, Europe's aviation safety agency, alongside Transport Canada, conducted independent, rigorous assessments, no longer simply rubber-stamping FAA approvals. This marked a new era of international cooperation and perhaps contention in airworthiness certification. A collective awakening. A realization that safety is not a national prerogative, but a global responsibility, demanding universal vigilance. A fragile trust, painstakingly rebuilt. So, what really changed? The 737 MAX accidents initiated tangible updates: a redesigned MCOS, mandatory simulator training, and stricter regulatory oversight. There's a renewed, albeit fragile, commitment to safety over speed. A reshuffling of leadership. But the true measure of change lies not just in these immediate fixes, but in a lasting shift in mindset. A continuous introspection. Will the lessons learned prevent future tragedies? Or will the pressures of commerce and innovation once again challenge the unwavering imperative of safety? The skies, though safer, demand eternal vigilance. The story of the 737 MAX remains a stark, enduring lesson.